All the specialty lands first. That's what they tend to do. Oh well. Hello everybody. Welcome to Tpull's Corner. We are doing the final entry in the Light-Paws Emperor's Voice series. I was doing all the other colors first, and I went back and looked at white, only mono white, and said, why not? Let's try it. Others. Come on out. Let's see what we can accomplish here. We're not blocking that stuff. I put 4 roadside reliquaries in, so it gives me 3 of them. Thanks a lot. Okay, get rid of the generous visitor. We're done there. Hallowed Haunting. Let's do Cathar's Call. And what else are we going to get with it? We could do so many things. Let's do this. +1 in Vigilance. Scoop. Seriously? Why? Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get a spirit token. When you get 7 enchantments, they get flying and vigilance. That could easily beat me. Okay, let's go ahead and show you guys the deck. That was kind of unexpected. This is... Ooh, good. I think I have 4 of those. Come on, come on, come on. Let's see, for the new people, this is Travis. You're at Tpull's Corner. My hobby is currently Magic the Gathering Online. I do play a bunch of other games, but I haven't put out any YouTube videos of anything else. The star of this show is Light-Paws Emperor's Voice. And if I've timed this right, I'm actually out of town for work. And I've just published the series, basically the Light-Paws series, with one of each color combination. So we did, white, green, white, black, white, red, white, blue. And this is mono white. So whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you can search your library for an aura card with a mana value less than or equal to that aura and with a different name. So technically I've probably made a mistake here because I've got 4 copies of Cathar's Call, but I've got, where is it? 4 copies of Rafine's Guidance. So if I've got Cathar's Call and I cast it for 3, I could bring out anything less. I could bring out Rafine's Guidance. But if I've already got Rafine's Guidance on the battlefield, I can't get another one out. So I do have some other stuff. I've got 1 copy of Military Discipline, 1 copy of Radiant Grace. It could be that this is too much, but there's not much in the way of usable auras higher than mana cost 4. Or higher than mana cost 3. So Cathar's Call is it. So that's the highest one I'm going to put out. So everything else is going to be less. Alright? But basically, this is a way for us to just get more value, get more sort of card draw, but not just card draw, but it gets to the battlefield instantly. And this is the stuff that we got. We got Military Discipline to flash in, give him First Strike and +1. Radiant Grace gives him Vigilance and +1. If we lose it, it turns into Radiant Restraints. All of their stuff comes in tapped. We have 4 copies of Rafine's Guidance, and I want to test this out because if we pay 3 and bring it back onto Light-Paws, does it work to sort of just give us another 1 cost? Or does it not trigger because the overall spell costs only 1? We have 4 copies of Illuminator Virtuoso, so we can put any of these spells onto the Virtuoso and let them connive. And with the double strike, there's numerous decks with Virtuoso in it that just having the Virtuoso alone and putting spells on it can win you the game. So it's a natural complementary piece with Light-Paws. I mean, it's hard for me to configure a deck without automatically thinking to add the Virtuoso to Light-Paws. But, you know, so we used it as sort of like the template. So all of the other decks will have these cards in it. We have 4 copies of Machiko's Reign of Truth instead of just 1. We have 1 Nurturing Presence. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, this creature gets +1/+1. 4 Banishing Slashes for crowd control. Maybe get rid of artifacts or enchantments. 3 of the Thran Power Suits now. I don't think I have 4. But you get +1/+1 for each aura and equipment. So plus you get Ward 2. So if I get the Thran Power Suits out and all on 1 creature, that's a Ward of 6. That's nice. We've got 1 Born to Drive, enchant artifact, or creature, and it gets +1/+1 for each creature or vehicle you control. And Cathar's Call gives us a bunch of extra 1/1 white human creature tokens, which is good because I have 2 copies of My Invitation only, where we can sacrifice creatures. And if I can sacrifice a bunch of my 1/1s and make them sacrifice their essential creatures, that's going to be a nice combo. 1 copy of When We Were Young. It's an instant, gives +2/+2 to 2 different target creatures. If you control an artifact and an enchantment, those creatures also gain lifelink until end of turn. 1 Depopulate to go up against the Swarm decks because, let me show you, we have only 12 creatures in the entire deck. That's kind of low. We have 24 lands like normal. We have 64 cards for the 4 board wipes. I feel comfortable with 64 without worrying about going into land problems because we're going to connive a lot with Virtuoso, so we're going to throw a lot of our stuff into the graveyard. And we also have Light-Paws, which is automatically going to draw those enchantment auras out of the deck automatically for us. So we don't need to necessarily... I don't think we'll need to worry about missing land drops because we have 64 cards. We'll test it out. We did good so far. Let's see. We have Depopulate for our 4th and final board wipe. We have 3 copies of Danitha, as we always do, Legendary Human Knight with First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. The reason she's there, though, is when it enters the battlefield, you can put an aura or equipment card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield attached to Danitha, so it's a way to get things back as well. And we have 1 Shrine Steward, which I always use in my Shrine decks, but they can also search for an aura. So if we've got this in hand and enough mana to cast it, we can think about what actual aura would be best suited for our purposes at the time, and we've got our pick of the litter to go get. And then, I don't know if I mentioned, this is, let's see, we got 2 by invitation only, 1 Depopulate, and 1 Vanquish the Horde. So that's our 4th board wipe. We've got 2 Iganjos, 2 Field of the Runes, 1 Mishra's Foundry, 2 Plaza of Heroes so we can protect Light-Paws or Danitha, and 4 Roadside Reliquaries because we might end up with artifacts and enchantments. And maybe this is too many. This was sort of a way for me to still have card draw if I got some lands but I needed more. Or maybe like I had enough lands that I felt I could spare to sacrifice it to draw. The problem with Magic the Gathering and their automated algorithm is when you put specialty lands in, I don't know if it just assumes that you want them up front, but it tends to front load them a lot. Like I don't know how many times I get Iganjo in my opening hand. It's just crazy. And having this kind of why I don't have 4 copies of Field of Ruin, because I don't really need 3 copies up front usually. But we'll see what it says. Did I mention that I get Iganjo up front a lot? I only have 2 copies in the entire deck, and there's 64 cards, so there's more than the average number of cards. But notice we also got 1 Roadside Reliquary. So let's throw that down now. The one problem with not having many creatures is we can run into this problem where we actually don't have any creatures at the very beginning. And sometimes that's worth considering a mulligan. But I just kind of wanted to show that we have that. I don't want to edit this out, right? You know, sometimes this happens. This is a genuine concern for this deck. And maybe this is... Do I want to put that out? Let me just put out the other Thran Power Suit for now. Maybe we'll get the 3rd land we want. It's not like we're missing out on putting anything down on the board yet. creature from your graveyard. There is no graveyard yet, so he's not transforming that yet. But he gets to look at the top card of his library all the time. Let's see if he's got a nice big creature. And with Connive, he can populate his graveyard with those big creatures too. Not a bad combination. Look at that, Lord Xander already. Jeez. What can we do? We can pray for our board wipe because we still didn't get a single creature. And maybe I need to hunt around for more creatures or more removal. Timeless Lotus, that can really power him up and let him cast those big things. And there's no reason for him not to attack. And if he's got more... oh, gee whiz. Okay, Magic. Are we through playing poker yet? No creatures and no lands. Just the only 3 artifacts I have in the entire deck. Oh, he's got Joda too. Nice. This is going to be a quick round. Yeah, I don't know what he's waiting for. There's nothing we can do against that. Okay, so let me go ahead and adjust the deck down a tiny bit, real quick. Just because I don't want us to run into that problem all the time. What I had in the other decks was recognizing the Light-Paws problem. I only had 1 Machiko's Reign of Truth. So let's go back down to 1 for that. So that way we have only 61 cards. And that cuts down on the number of auras to creature ratio. And slightly reduces the percentage of us ending up with just a handful of dead cards without anything to put on the field. And let that serve as a lesson to me to not be greedy. I'm sure there's another deck where I can have 4 copies of Machiko's Reign of Truth in, but it doesn't need to be this particular deck. And the only reason that I haven't stripped out one of Raffine's Guidance is I still want to test Light-Paws, because I haven't done it myself yet, and I haven't seen anybody do it before me. Come on, get out there. This is kind of the nice part about not having a creature up front. Nothing feels really, really bad if he gets rid of it. I can just decline that because that's only 1. What the heck? Just plain silly has left the building. How did the... Do these guys come up against Light-Paws a lot? That I don't know that my wins are only lasting for 2 or 3 turns? I'm very confused. I do not run up against Light-Paws anytime, anywhere, any place. What part of seeing Light-Paws makes you automatically scared and just quit? You guys are seeing this too, right? Like, it's not my imagination. If we're winning, it's just because they're just scooping at the mere sight of the demonstration of Light-Paws' ability. I'll keep this, even though we don't have creatures. We've actually got 2 board wipes, and we're starting off with 3 lands, which is good for us. 4 lands, there we go. See, we've got our board wipe whenever we want it now. Plus, we do have stuff we can do. Out comes the friend, Power Suit. How'd you like to wear that to a business meeting? What are you gonna wear? I'm gonna wear my power suit. What type of power suit? It's my Thran power suit. Oh, I've never seen one of those before. Oh, it's really good. Dog, you're gonna make me kill dogs? They're so cute. Ah, playing poker, I see. Is that like a perfect start for this deck? They've got extra cards in, but they all got all their card draw up front. What are we waiting for? I'm just gonna wait for one more creature, and then we'll board wipe. I feel I can afford to take 3 points of damage. Or they'll put some big buff on this. They'll risk an enchantment that they can lose. There you go, Quartermaster. They had to tap out for it. Okay, so I take 5 points of damage. Didn't get the land, so we have to use that particular board wipe. And he's already got another army going. Alright. Still gets a 1/1 back. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Give him more 2. And Radiant Grace. Decline. And my opponent doesn't automatically scoop at the sight of Light-Paws. Alright, we got a game. Okay, they just throw it back up into my hand. Alright, all of their stuff comes in tapped now, which was kind of good, right? No? Oh. Oh, my creature has to die. My creature has to die for that. Okay, they tapped out again, so let's do this. We'll bring down the expensive one, or bring out Radiant Grace. There we go. From the graveyard. Another Fading Hope. We are running out of health. Ouch. I think we're dead.
Right.
I don't have any haste.
Let's clean up this town.
And they have a
Let's do
flyer.
this together.
I would need one of my other 2 board wipes like right now. Hang on. Rufine gives it +1. This gives it ward 2. It's not perfect. I think I'm dead, right? Because they just pump up the other one, so they can hit me with 2 no matter what. I guess technically I should have just put Danitha down for the lifelink. And that would have given me another
what
turn.
you got.
Oh, hello. That doesn't have haste. What are you doing? You could have killed me this turn. Let's see. I don't think it matters, right? I think we're dead no matter what. Your hand? Doesn't matter. You got flying. Can't block that. Mono white cheapy swarms. They get you most of the time. Let's try again. I'll say this. This is a very strange kind of configuration because I haven't seen a single Virtuoso yet. And typically when I make a Virtuoso deck, I get those a lot up front. But against a blue-white combo with chibi white creatures and 2 Fading Hopes up front, that gave them all the tempo they needed. And now we have... Is this going to be red-white or mono-red aggro? Probably mono-red aggro. And I didn't get the second white land that I needed. So maybe... I don't know, do I need more white sources in here? Just too many specialty lands? And the Virtuoso. Usually doesn't do too much good against... oh, we do have white in there. They usually have something to remove it. We can block that right now. We can do Cathar's Call. And we'll get rid of Rafine's Guidance. No attacks. Now we have a blocker against the double striker. And first striker against any of these. Yep, he's got removed. Well, shoot. Alright, so we block that one. We're down to 2. We need life gain or we're going to die. We use Vanquish the Horn for our board wipe. Vanquish the Herd! And then he zaps us to the face. I think my Vanquish the Horde spell just broke the computer. There we go. Okay, you got something. Alright, Virtuoso. Virtuoso. You done? Looking at my lands. I'd prefer to get a Light-Paws out here so I can test out Rafine's Guidance from the graveyard real quick. Ouch. So I'm going to lose both of my guys? But you're an enchantment creature, right? Now I've got enough white mana. My issue is if he has more haste. He's got haste, he's got haste. And mine is a sorcery, not an instant. And I'm done. No, I have Mistress Foundry. Indestructible. Okay. I don't really have a choice, right? I have to attack. Or I have to defend. Alright. Then we can destroy up to one tapped creature. And we're kind of top decking for a creature now. They got one. Ooh, we got one. Sweet. We also have Cathar's Call. We'll take, let's see, we'll take Nurturing Presence. I like the way that worked out. We'll block with that. And by invitation only. Choose one. Attack! +2 to each. You don't get lifelink, but they're flooding out with land. Now's a chance to test Rafine's Guidance. We paid 3. It does. It counts the 3. Sweet. I like that. I'm keeping all 4 copies of Rafine's Guidance in then. That's why you never quit, folks. 2 life points. We still pulled it out. Runner dash made a dash for it and he ran. Alright, we take the opportunity for screen loading to remind you guys to like and subscribe. Suze's Many Journeys, the card that never works for me, no matter how I use it. Alright, we'll go in and show you the deck one more time. And when I get back from my extended work, I'll have some new decks for you. Alright, so Illuminator Virtuoso, we managed to chump block with him, but he didn't hang around long enough to do a lot of the work that he usually does. Which is kind of good because the emphasis is supposed to be on Light-Paws. They are supposed to be the center of attention, and it was. And the cool thing is that we could spend 3 to get Rafine's Guidance from the graveyard, slap it on Light-Paws, and then it still opened it up so we could go get a different enchantment aura of lesser cost. So that was pretty cool. The board wipes were necessary. The only thing that we really need to do is we need to get Dana out and stay on the board more, and we need to maybe use the Shrine Steward from time to time. And since we went from 4 to 1 for Michiko's Reign of Truth, we didn't really see her. But we did get to see pretty much everything else already. So this is actually one of the better decks to do this with. If you watch any of the other previous 4 entries into the series, the big problem we had was that there weren't enough enchantment auras to really support this card, this creature, this character, this legendary. And if you're going to make a legendary creature, there should be support in it. And there's a lot of different expansions out now, but you look at our choices for enchantment auras, and if you're restricted to one color, there's not a lot of choices out there. So it's really difficult to have a card like this and have 3 colors and choose a bunch of auras from 3 colors so you have enough aura support and still have a feasible deck for the rest of your deck, right? Because we're always facing the issue of, hey, we put 3 different spells on this creature and they got rid of it with 1 creature removal spell. So that's a very bad return of our rate of use, right? Not much utility there. So we're always running a risk on that type of thing in the first place. So if they were going to, give us a card like this again in any kind of meta environment, I'd say they need to actually focus more on enchantment auras. Give us more things to use with it, things that synergize with it. I don't know how. I would have to go to like an 80 or 120 card deck just to have other creatures to be, help us to survive long enough to use multiple color light auras or auras on Light-Paws. So that's the continuing difficulty. But out of the 5 decks, this one might be one of the ones that works the best. And it was fun for me to play. I don't know why I'm starting to Cathar. Even though I kind of don't usually like playing with tokens, I consider tokens a nuisance a lot of times. I think Cathar's Call is kind of starting to grow on me after using it more often, that kind of thing. So we'll leave it there. You guys have a good weekend. This is Travis signing off from Tpull's Corner. Thanks. Have a good one.